garbage out. Does truth matter? Is what we see and hear important? Do adults only and other protective rating systems still matter? Is what kids see important? And if it is, why is it important? Welcome to Truth Talk Wisdom Walk with C.A. Curtis. I'm Carolyn. Back in the 1990s, grown-ups like parents, teachers, and counselors saw violent video games and worried that children could be trained as dark triad characters who enjoy hurting, hunting, and killing people. Concern was loud enough to prompt congressional hearings and a rating system for violence and sexual content. The debate continues between parents and industry, which reflect the questions about cause and effect and the multiple factors which influence mental health. Curious about virtual reality myself, I moved beyond Mario Kart to a goggled immersion experience with a war game while I was at a Las Vegas casino. Being a novice, I kept shooting my own soldiers. Friendly fire, momentary regret. But I also experienced the thrill of the kill, blasting the nameless enemy into oblivion. Survive and conquer, who wouldn't love that, with cascades of excitement, adrenaline, and endorphins? What does real life have to offer? And that is part of the issue as addiction drives to ever more extremes as we try to boost our frayed and numbed nervous systems. And how is media influencing the increase in anxiety? But that's for another day. We are hardwired to fit in with our family and community. Survival and equilibrium are vital, and there's a lot to learn about the basics of why we do what we do. For now, it's helpful to look at one of the ways we learn anything at all. We have mirror neurons. So what? What does that mean? Well, take a deep breath. This discovery in the late 1990s is posted in the database on the National Institute of Health website. I quote here, so just, again, take a deep breath. Mirror neurons are a class of neuron that modulate their activity. Modulate meaning it just like changes determined by what's in front of it. Modulate their activity both when an individual executes a specific motor act or when they just observe the same or a similar act performed by another individual. They were first reported in the macaw monkey research study. In simple words, monkey see, monkey do. Specific neurons activate when we see a behavior and when we do the same thing. 30 years ago, this discovery shed light on social cognition and on behavior. It made headlines. So what does it mean for you and me and for our children? Anyone who ever raised an infant to adolescence knows that kids do what they see and hear. From babbled sounds to words and sentences, we copied others. We mirrored what we saw and heard. We watched our parents, caregivers, teachers, screens, and social media, then sounded like and practiced what we saw and heard, for good or bad. I was once with some friends watching a football game, and one of the toddlers, seriously, I think he was maybe 3 years old, all of a sudden, or 4, anyway, all of a sudden, during a break, he just rushed across the room and tackled one of the cousins. Well, that was the tackle I just watched on TV. Anyway, so what we see, we do. Well, garbage in, garbage out is still relevant today. What we focused on and paid attention to joined with our own personalities to influence our past actions, what we do in the present, and in the future. Athletes visualize and practice plays to win games. First responders watch scenes and practice rescues. Pilots visualize possible crash scenarios to be ready for a crisis. Students of any age who want to learn about their favorite subject focus on what they want to learn. The NIH article concluded with the location of mirror neurons in our brains. There is now evidence, quote, that mirror neurons are present throughout the motor system as well as regions of the parietal cortex. So what does that mean for how we care for ourselves and our children? What our children see, they will learn and practice. Will life be more difficult because of our bad habits or what they see? Or will they find heroes to follow? Will they love the truth or choose fleeting pleasure? Will they be resilient and grateful or victims of circumstance? What do children learn from the media, from their teachers and friends? Most of my elementary school students had learning challenges and were from single-parent homes. They lived in the projects where life was hard and addictions were on the rise. What could I offer them besides, at that time, safety in my class, kindness and respect, and the skills they needed to open their world to a stable future, a better future? I talked with their parents even before class began. When I met the students, right from the beginning, we wrote the class rules, which, if broken, brought instant, expected consequences. My students were introduced to courageous people who overcame difficulties. People like Helen Keller, who rose above her blindness and her difficulties with the help of her teacher. They were amazed by the woman born with no arms who could write and slice fruit with her feet and toes. The Friday afternoon films took them beyond their lives and their own limitations and helped them dream big for themselves. Through example, character stories, and practice, they learned self-control is better than being controlled by me or others. And they learned that adversity is an opportunity for overcoming. As I watch our cultural unraveling, it appears that foreign interests, greed, and entitled dissipation are driving our decline. We're used to smut and porn, desensitized to sensuality, yet we're oversensitive to fear of offending someone's feelings. People silence themselves. People just silence themselves because they want to fit in. And that, the research has shown that throughout the political spectrum, everyone silences, the majority of people silence their actual views on the issues. Conservatives, by the way, far more, like 25% more than other people, just silence their viewpoints. Meanwhile, outspoken officials push a sexualized agenda. Our screens are lit up with examples of narcissistic hedonism, and our libraries carry books which actually sexualize our children in the name of free speech. Where are the gatekeepers who protect children from pedophiles and exhibitionists who actually thrill at robbing children of innocence? Gatekeepers guard children, monitor screen time, are involved in public and private education, and yet we are flooded with the garbage that hurts children. Mirror neurons record garbage as normal. Even ours do. It is not easy to risk the outrage of emotionally distressed people. How do we stay in truth about ourselves and not misjudge others? We must be on our guard because it is easy to become bitter or angry, like those we disagree with. We have to breathe, pray, and stay grounded in love so that we respond with love. We can love and care for our families and others. We can speak the truth with firm kindness and love, even if we're the only one not fitting in with the crowd. We can volunteer to help those in need and offer real solutions. Some people are caught up in unhealthy behaviors because they were lied to or told they had rights that would somehow protect them from the serious, negative, physical, and psychological consequences of their actions. There are those who slid into doing things that they never considered doing, just trying to fit in, with new friends, trying out a new drug, trying out a new behavior because of curiosity. Well, I don't know. Maybe this is going to be good for me. Maybe this is going to help me see more and understand more. Anyway, I don't want to just be the only person in the group who's not joining. We can become like others because of our mirror neurons. There's a wise biblical standard for our thoughts and actions, which is outside of my own narrow interests and your interests. Follow the golden rule. As we wrestle with our differences, are we willing to protect children? I woke up with a poem in mind after reviewing the public school curriculum, which was pushed and then adopted by Washington State. The program supported feelings as facts, while sexualizing or desexing our students in classroom material. The material was not grounded in objective reality, biology, or simple truth. It wasn't even grounded in what young people are capable of doing. It wasn't even grounded in whether or not 5-year-olds or 10-year-olds can make lifelong decisions for themselves and understand all of the consequences. Having compassion for student confusion or a child's confusion or challenges should not ever include lying about reality. Well, I emailed this poem and my appeal to the state to please not implement the program. There was no response. I wasn't terribly surprised, having spent enough time as a teacher and understanding politics. I realized the deal was already done. When they brought it to the parents for their opinion, no, we're just going to show you what we're going to do, and we're going to make sure that we neutralize whatever disagreement there is out there. That's what happens. So here's the poem. Passion. Passion untamed aborts its own seed or leaves orphan children to fill unmet need. Who mentors the young, stealing innocence with pride? Rotting fruit falls to earth and proves they have lied. Our flowers are trampled, the garden undone. Rebuild the walls, light darkness with the sun. Let children be children and in wisdom grow free, protected from special interests, foolish, mocker, or naive. Lay your shame on the altar, let your soul find rest. Share your wounded heart, love truth, and be blessed. With love-tamed passion, do good in God's sight. Bring healing to brokenness and bear fruit for life. Protect the children. Truth matters and children matter. Love truth, be grateful, and do good. Thank you for joining this journey of Truth Talk Wisdom Walk. Until we meet again.